Hey, my name is Steve.
We like Steve, but we don't love Steve.
Welcome back, everybody, to another video about the last day on Earth and Frostborn, I guess. Advertisements. Yes, the weird advertisements that must be stopped. We're doing part 3 because, honestly, I don't have any other content to make while we wait until the season thingy comes out. Obviously, the troll thingy I mentioned in my poll a little while ago is going to take a little bit to record as I got to find a time that works for everybody, and that's coming soon. But before we get onto these Last Day on Earth ads, there's something I should clarify. For these ads, I'm not necessarily evaluating it on how cinematic-y it is. The cinematics are a good thing, but we look past those because those are really good advertisements that ultimately do tie back to the game. So what I'm really going to criticize with these Last Day on Earth and Frostborn ads is not necessarily the camera being in a weird position or some unrealistic angle to the game, but if there's something that they're doing in the ad that's blatantly not even part of the game and is just blatant false advertising, then yes, I will criticize that and I will mark it down in my overall ad evaluation for what I think of each ad specifically. There are a couple in this video, so I suppose let's get to that. First, if you haven't already, consider subscribing and join my Discord, follow my Twitter right there and there. Very satisfying to always edit that. Sometimes I do improv giveaways, sometimes I just ask about random video ideas, stuff like that. Join, follow, stuff like that. Suppose if we're going to start off with crazy ads that must be stopped, let's start off strong, Last Day on Earth and their fake ads. Right off the bat, let's start off with possibly one of the stronger versions of what I was talking about. As I said, I'm not going to criticize the cinematic feel or the camera angle being unrealistic to the game, as that's something you really need to look past when you look at an advertisement. I definitely should have left those out of the previous ad evaluations, but for now, we're going to look at it more of an unrealistic standpoint, and this ad, I feel like, does a really good job of demonstrating that. So first and foremost, you have zombies from Bunker Bravo fighting a character or characters in the background in what looks to be an abandoned truck yard, but that's not even in the game. The character is strumming a guitar. The next shot, the character is with some furniture and reading a blueprint, but in the background, unrealistically, you have an LDW character riding an infected bull, which you definitely can't do in the same fake zone. Then you have an actual Jeep drive by, which is definitely not a thing I pictured, which ends up crashing and starting a fire. That's definitely not even possible. The LDW character is lying down almost like he's drunk because you can see all these beer bottles on the ground. One, that kind of thing isn't even in the game. And two, if you notice the little dog right over there, yeah, dogs can't really do that with the furniture. Going to criticize that because the dog situation in LDW is a very set specific way. Then after that, you have two characters standing off in what looks to be the retail yard again, and then we have the LDW character doing jumping jacks while a guy in the chopper mows down a couple of things in the background. Well, jumping jacks, blatant falsehood on LDW's part. Again, you can't do that in the game. Character size and gives up, just like me with this ad. LDW, 6 out of 10, cinematic-y, it looks good, but it's very, very fake. Probably 5.5 if I actually had to evaluate. Swapping back over to a Frostborn ad, we have the character summon a bear, also very cinematic angle-like, but this is all very realistic. You can do all of this in the game. I'm not sure what zone that is. I'm sure JCF is going to say it in my comments. That I know is the abandoned crate event as the character rides on a horse. I don't think you could get a horse that early, but again, looking past that for cinematic sake, again, very realistic of an ad. I'm not sure if that one zone was in the game, but I'm sure that the Frostborn players will yell at me in the comments and tell me what zone that actually is. Pretty good ad. honestly, 9 out of 10. I'm assuming that ad is to kind of incentivize people to play after the most recent mount update. Let's move back over to Last Day on Earth, How to Survive a Zombie Apocalypse. This one's very TikTok-y themed, as you can see. It's realistic to the game, yes, as the character does this. Again, I'm looking past the cinematic stuff. Those graphics, though, look better than actual LDUE. And then it's more of just an armor showcase, as they showcase all of the armor. And some crates, no idea what kind of zone that is, though. And some of those armors you can't necessarily have on the same character, since LDUE literally says swap character. But again, looking past that for the sake of cinematic sake, and I honestly like that kind of transition. So I'm going to give this ad 7.5 out of 10. That sounds good. Over to a Frostborn ad as the camera pans down as a character in Instigator gear. Wood does that, attacks a zombie. It even shows some actual gameplay in there. Pretty good. And as he selects that, you can't really do that, but I'll look past that. Then right here, steel smelted to armor, thick cloth smelted directly to plate armor. This is where, honestly, this is the first Frostborn ad that has been almost a little bit misleading. Yes, those materials do lead to plate armor, but I don't. Can you craft plate armor? Let me double check. But it's not necessarily just that one workbench equals plate armor, and I feel like that's a little bit misleading from the ad. But overall, very cinematic-y, very smooth in terms of the animation. Frostborn and LDUE, they're getting better with their animations and their ads. For once, I need to dock this ad a little bit because it's just mildly misleading right there. 8.5 out of 10, still a very good ad.
Hey, my name is Steve. I love the post-apocalypse. Why?
Now with this next ad, I honestly feel like I've shown it before. You have the character of Steve, and this one, yet again, very unrealistic to the game. Character does that, definitely can't do that. Big one mows through walls, can't do that. Big one can't mow through steel walls, but I mean, the big one can't mow through it. Anyways, I feel like I've shown this ad before. Character dodges the way out of a tree, and the tree knocks down a zombie. Yet again, another unrealistic thing. Zombie comes in, and the character does a spin kick to knock out the zombie. Unrealistic again, character mows down zombies. Roll credits. Now, even looking past the cinematic stuff, this ad is just very misleading with regard to stuff that you can do in the game. I feel like if you just see this ad, download LDUE, you're going to be very disappointed with what you end up seeing. So, very misleading. I feel like I've shown this one multiple times on numerous occasions. 4 out of 10, LDUE, you gotta do a little bit better than that. Anywho, I think that's gonna do it for this video from me. Again, if I find more ads, I'll make more videos. If you see any ads, let me know. Send them to me on Twitter and Discord, as I mentioned earlier. Always interesting to take a look at LDUE's version of advertising and Frostborn's version of advertising, especially when comparing it to other games and just evaluating what they put in their ads in general, because no other LDUE YouTuber tends to cover this kind of thing. I find it really interesting. Let me know what you think of these ads down below. Comments are always very funny to read, especially with these kinds of videos. Subscribe, ZD out.